Modern systems need to be able to communicate with each other more than ever. Because of the widespread use of internet and the need to integrate two systems together, there was a demand for developing an architecture that would allow two systems, even if they are totally different applications, to talk to each other. This is exactly why APIs came into existence. APIs emerged before the 90s. However, after microservices-based architecture was widely adopted, their use skyrocketed. So what is an API? It is nothing but another application that runs on a web server. It is a messenger that delivers your message to the service provider you are trying to communicate with. However, it does not stop there. It also delivers a response that is received from the provider back to you. Let's take an example to understand what an API does. When you go to a restaurant, you'll be greeted by a waiter who will take your order and send it to the chef. The chef will then prepare your order and send it back to you on the hands of your waiter. Waiter here is basically doing an API's job. It is acting as a messenger between you and the chef. Now this series is all about web APIs, but I want to take a moment to talk about the difference between webhook and APIs. You might have heard the words webhook and APIs used interchangeably. Well, it's not 100% wrong, because webhooks are essentially a type of APIs. However, there is a fundamental difference in their communication method. APIs are bidirectional, whereas webhooks are unidirectional. To get something out in an API, you must invoke it first, meaning you must send a request via an API to the service provider in order to receive a response. Webhook, on the other hand, sends you data immediately after they are triggered by an event. They don't require you to invoke a request. An example of webhook could be a time-based notification. Say you want to receive a notification on your phone about the number of unread emails in your inbox at exactly 9 a.m. each day. Whenever the clock on your application server reads 9 a.m., which is the event, a webhook will send the notification stating the number of unread emails you have in your inbox. What are the types of APIs? Based on release policy, there are three different types. A public API is accessible to everyone on the internet. It's often free to use, has low authentication and authorization measures. Examples include Google Maps API or Coinbase's API. And then we have Partners API. These are shared among those with business relationship. They have relatively stronger security measures, and examples include Amazon's API or eBay's API. Private APIs are only available within an organization and are hidden from the public. Some of the examples include Database Connectivity API or Operating System's own API. Based on messaging style, we have two different types of APIs. These two common types of APIs are SOAP or Service Object Access Protocol APIs, which are based on SOAP protocols, and they enable XML messaging through HTTP or SMTP. They are mostly used in enterprise-based software or for legacy system support. REST or Representational State Transfer APIs, unlike SOAP APIs, are based on REST architecture. They support plain text, HTML, YAML, and JSON on top of XML. They also provide HTTP request methods like GET, PUT, DELETE, or POST. These request methods let you work with the resources. A resource here refers to a data that is represented by a unique URL. For example, the URL you see on the screen uniquely represents a resource. However, not every API URL represents a resource. In the next video, we will look at the various components of an API URL and see what a URL must have for it to represent a resource. Till then, stay safe.